Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24, that's France 24 in English. In this edition, a unique slice of life in North Korea. Our team's been to Pyongyang, the capital, to see how work and life are changing. Model factories producing products as wide-ranging as the Korean delicacy kimchi and, on the other hand, sports shoes. Model farms where workers are provided with homes and a workplace where fruit and veg can be harvested all year round. This is, without a doubt, progress, and the North Korean economists that we speak to are proud of that. But this is just a slice of life in North Korea. The fate of the people that we weren't allowed to freely film can only be imagined from the stories of defectors who've spoken of the hardship under a now three-generation dictatorship. This film by Marjolaine Grapp with the English narration by Clément Bonnereau.
Stretching thousands of miles across Northeast Asia, the Great Wall of China ends here in Liaoning province, its easternmost point. Beyond lies one of the most closed and secretive nations on Earth, North Korea. The border is lined with sentry boxes, fields and small villages with faded collars. Soldiers patrol the area day and night to prevent defections. Those who try to escape are shot on sight. After months of waiting, we were granted rare access to the country to understand how it develops secretly in complete isolation from the rest of the world. Crippled by international sanctions, North Korea is one of the poorest nations on the planet. Authorities were eager to show us a different image of the capital, Pyongyang. We spent a week in the country, accompanied by two guides at all times. Pyongyang is home to 3 million people out of a total population of 25 million. It's a city of the elite. Only party officials and families loyal to the government are allowed to live here. For several years now, it has served as a testing ground for the regime's new economic policies. Ever since Kim Jong-un took control of the country in 2011, Pyongyang has enjoyed an unprecedented building and consumption boom, with new industrial estates springing up across the capital. This factory makes kimchi, a traditional Korean dish made of spicy, fermented cabbage.
The entire production process is mechanized. Employees only take care of the seasoning now, so we need fewer people than before, when everything was done by hand.
This state-of-the-art computerized control room is the jewel in the crown of this factory. It directly communicates with universities and research centers across Pyongyang to monitor the factory's performance in real time.
This is the central control system of our kimchi factory. It allows us to reach optimal production. This system is a first in North Korea. It's the fruit of years of research and cooperation between scientists and technicians.
The next visit takes us to a carbon copy of the same control room, this time in a shoe factory.
Here we monitor and control all the stages of production.
Model factories like these can be found in every sector of the economy. The regime's goal is to replicate them on a larger scale, following two guiding principles: innovation and adaptability. And it seems North Koreans do have a creative streak. This machine is used to test the design of football boots and their influence on playing performance.
If you turn this wheel, the direction of the shoe changes and you can hit the ball with the inner or the outer side of the shoe. The rotation speed is calculated by the computer, and this gives us an indication of the shooting power. All this data is recorded in our database. To do the test, we put the ball here, then we just press this button.
In this quest for innovation, traditional roles are challenged. The heroes of the communist revolution, peasants, workers, and to a lesser extent intellectuals, have been replaced by scientists. Kim Jong-un believes they're the future of the North Korean regime. A narrative official writers have been tasked with promoting and developing.
The subject of my new novel? The importance of new technologies so we can build a more powerful country. This is also the goal of our government. North Korea will become a country capable of doing great things with very talented people.
Even peasants are given the opportunity to learn about new technologies. Of course, writers have to align themselves with the official party line. But rather than describing the daily lives of workers and peasants as we did in the past, we now write about talented men, science, and everything that's part of today's globalized world.
Kim Il-sung University is North Korea's main institution of higher education. Across the country, there are more than 300,000 students. And Kim Jong-un's call for a more ambitious North Korea has certainly found an echo among the young.
Because of the sanctions imposed on us by the United States, our great leader and comrade Kim Jong-un has led us down an independent path. With that in mind, and with the recent advances in materials science, I decided to study engineering. It goes without saying that our country is a major nuclear power. We have missiles, and we're strong enough to cope with any war caused by the United States.
The recent summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un in Singapore may have eased tensions on the Korean peninsula. War remains deeply ingrained in North Korean culture. The regime controls the population with an iron fist. Those who step out of the line are still sent to labor camps across the country. During our visit, authorities only presented us with a sanitized version of reality, far from the brutality and privations that so many North Koreans endure on a daily basis. Our requests to meet officials in charge of the country's nuclear program all remained unanswered. However, just before leaving North Korea, we managed to get an interview with one of the regime's leading economists, Professor Ri Ki-song.
Our defense industry is already well developed. The war between North Korea and the United States is a nuclear war. This is why we focused on military spending on nuclear weapons to deter the Americans from intervening on our soil. This has in turn enabled us to invest more money in the economy. We've entered a new era in the sense that now we produce enough to support and sustain our own people. And in my opinion, this is crucial.
Without access to any reliable statistics, it is impossible to know whether North Korea's apparent economic revival is indeed a miracle or just a mirage. There's growing evidence that new US sanctions imposed on the country have begun to bite, and bite hard. To get a glimpse of what life is like in the countryside, we were allowed to leave Pyongyang and visit one of North Korea's collective farms. Authorities wanted to show us that the famine of the 1990s, which killed between 600,000 and 1 million people, is now a distant memory. On the roof of every house, a solar panel to produce electricity. The farmers all live here with their children. The regime provides each family with a house and a plot of land.
Here I am, And this is my wife, my eldest son, and my younger son. My eldest son has just finished his military service, and he lives with us. My other son is doing his military service right now.
Were you born here?
Yes. Life was hard for us in the 1990s. But that was before Kim Jong-un gave us this accommodation and this job. Everything is provided by the state. The only thing I had when I got here was the key.
The Changchon collective farm was upgraded in 2014 on Kim Jong-un's order to serve as a model to be replicated around the country. In the space of 8 months, 665 greenhouses have been built to supply Pyongyang with fresh fruit and vegetables throughout the year.
Before, we had no greenhouse. The soil was too salty to grow crops, which meant that the acidity of the plants was too high. We also had to use insecticide because there were a lot of insects, and they grew more resistant over time. Now we get 4 to 5 harvests a year. In the spring and summer, we grow fruit, and in the autumn and winter, we grow vegetables for kimchi, spinach, cabbage, and Chinese cabbage.
We cross Kaesong among the country's 10 largest cities. Pedestrians, bicycles and cars are rare, but the drab monochromatic socialist outfits have taken on some colour. The South Korean border is very close. Soldiers are on constant patrol. Still, the region doesn't seem to be on the brink of war. Beneath the flags of the two rivals, farmers work the fields. No land lies fallow, every inch of ground put to use to feed the nation. These scenes showcased by the regime seem unlikely to represent the full picture, but one after the other they add up to what could be a new direction. Kim Jong-un spent part of his childhood in Switzerland. Could he have brought back dreams of modernization, of opening up to the outside world? Thanks to the nuclear weapons that now shield him from outside threats, the young dictator is establishing his hold on the country. His predecessors built statues and palaces, but he plans skating rinks, bowling alleys, pools, a natural history museum, amusement parks. For the elites, for a new emerging middle class, and to reward the most deserving groups of workers in the country. The regime sees culture, scientific and economic progress as substitutes for democratic freedoms. North Koreans hold little hope for real change in a country living under its third generation of harsh dictatorship.
That look at life in North Korea from Marjolaine Grapp with the voice of Clément Bonnereau in the English version. You can see it again via our website, france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.